Joining me now on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, a former multi-sport athlete for the Sabres up in Ewa Beach, going into her fourth year for the Hawaii Hilo Vulcans cross-country program, a 2020 graduate of Campbell High School, Aurea Streadbeck. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to chat with me and be a part of our OIA to College Athletes series. We've had a nice time so far chatting with local athletes from all over here on Oahu who have gone to both Hilo, Chaminade. We'll eventually have some Hawaii Pacific University athletes as well. And Aurea, you're just the next in line of another group of very talented and also pretty accomplished athletes. Before we get into it, I do want to read off just a couple of things about you so people know. Highest placement of your career was 15th coming back in your freshman season. You set your PR this past year at the Pac West Championships in the 6K. You set your 5K PR back on October 1st of 2022, running in under 24 minutes, a 5K, which is impressive at the Hawaii Hilo Invitational. You are a two-time Ono Award winner for the cross-country team back in 2020, 2021, and 2021-22. And overall, just somebody who seems to continue to achieve things year in and year out. Once again, I'm going to thank you so much for joining me. And to jump on in, can I ask, what got you into cross-country in the first place?
Yeah, actually, I used to do like a lot of running on my own for soccer before I started running cross. And one of my best friends from high school actually told me that I should join the cross-country team at Campbell. And I was kind of skeptical at first because I knew nothing about cross-country or long-distance running. So I just took the shot and I went and I tried out for my high school team and that was it. And then I just fell in love with the sport and that's where I am now at UHH Hilo.
And you mentioned playing soccer before then. So it sounds as though soccer came before cross country. After you started running cross country, did you see any improvements in your soccer play? Did you feel that soccer helped you run cross country and vice versa? Like, are those two sports something that you feel kind of go hand in hand?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've pretty much played soccer my whole life, like club and in high school. And I think cross country definitely did help the conditioning part of soccer because we did a lot of running. So, and soccer with a lot of like movements and stuff like that and like strategy, I also feel that it helped cross country. So they both kind of went hand in hand for me. And I'm really happy that I participated in both in high school. Yeah.
It can be difficult to be a multi-sport athlete and still keep your grades up, but that seems to be something that you've continued to do, is take pride in that student athlete moniker, not just the athlete side of things. Let's go back to high school. Obviously, it said you were a Campbell graduate back in 2020. The world was kind of a crazy place that year. I can imagine that you learned a lot of skills and you were forced to kind of adapt during the end of your high school career. How did Campbell help you prep yourself for your future, both academically and athletically?
Yeah, I really think because I took a lot of like upper level classes, AP classes, early college and stuff like that in high school, it really helped prepare me for UH Hilo and just college in general because the pace and everything is so much more different. For sports, I really think playing in high school and, playing soccer my whole life really helped set me up for college, just the mindset and everything, not just like the physical aspects of playing sports.
All right. So I'm curious, this is a little off the paved road, but cross country and soccer, if you could only pick one, would you pick one? And two, would cross country be your pick?
I think now, currently, I would probably pick cross country. Maybe looking back in like the past years of my life, I maybe would have chose soccer, but I've really grown to love cross country. It's kind of like an individual sport, but at the same time, it's a team sport. And it's a very mental sport too. But I've just grown to like really love it. And yeah.
So you say you've grown to really love it. I'm curious. I want to dive into that a little bit more because there are people like, I don't know, probably me and some others who will listen to this who they think, cross country and running for fun almost. And that sounds scary to me. Running long distances for fun. What is it that you really take into account that you really do enjoy about running? Is it the feeling, the post runner's high that you hear people talk about? Or what are some of the things that you really love about running itself and running, I guess, long distances?
Yeah, that's so funny because everyone who doesn't like running says like, wow, you just run for fun as like a sport. And just like, I guess that's kind of true, but I really like running because I like the feeling that it gives me. And it's just like a way to get away from the world, when you're running. And the runner's high part is definitely true too. You'll experience it if you continue to run, but like again, I said it's a very mental sport, and I feel like it's me kind of like fighting with myself a lot. So I like that aspect too. And just being with my team and stuff, because, if we try to push to get more towards the front, then we're not doing it for ourselves, but we're doing it for our team. So yeah.
And then moving back towards the sport itself and your competition. Obviously, you compete in high school. You do well enough to the point where you're now a college athlete. Can you take me through the recruiting process of how you came to Hilo, obviously being from Oahu, and then how you joined the cross country team? Was that something that going in you were really sure you're going to do, or?
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at several schools. Of course, I kept my options open. I wasn't just set on one school, but I was really looking at Hilo. And I actually took a tour at the campus my junior year of high school to see if I really liked it. And I did. And I got in contact with Coach Hawai'i, which was our coach at the time. He just retired this past year, but I got in contact with him, and we just started chatting, and I ended up getting recruited, and that's how I got on the cross country team at Hilo.
So you say you had options open. What, if you don't mind, what were some of the other schools that you were considering? Were they back on the mainland? I say I'm from New York. Were they on the mainland? Were they other Hawaii schools? And if they were on the mainland, what was it that helped you decide to stay home?
Yeah, I was definitely looking at schools in the mainland, like UNLV, GCU. A lot of local kids go to those sort of schools. I think I chose Hilo because for me, it's like a home away from home. I'm not technically here at home on Oahu, but still being on the Big Island is still like very secure to me. And it's still very different from Oahu, which I like because it's not completely the same. So I still get a different and a new experience being at college. I was looking at other schools on island too, like HPU and stuff like that, but I really wanted to go off island, and Hilo seemed like the perfect option.
And then obviously when you're staying home, I have to imagine the support is probably a little bit better than, say, should you go to the mainland. Can you take us through what the support is like, especially for a sport like cross country, where it's not necessarily a stationary one place where you can sit and watch?
Yeah, that's true. I do have some family on the Big Island as well. So that really helped me a lot when I transitioned from high school to college. I can definitely see that that's very, grateful and stuff like that, compared to if I were to go to the mainland. I wouldn't have much family there. I would probably just have to make friends. But yeah, so during our races, yeah, you can't really sit anywhere. Everyone just kind of stands along the side and cheers you on and watches you race. But I think it's pretty cool because they're at like every single stop to cheer you on when it's getting hard or you feel like slowing down. And you just have your family and your friends there to keep pushing you on, to keep going.
It sounds like exactly what I would need to keep on going in those type of races. It's
Yeah.
good to have that type of support, I would imagine, especially when I would think you run on fumes as longer races go on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely would say that the support, even my teammates say this all the time, but the cheering really does make a difference, especially when you're running for so long and you hear someone else coming into your mind, instead of it just being yourself, it really does help a lot, I would say.
Makes sense. And then I brought it up before. You are a student athlete, and it seems that you very much so take pride in that. A multi-time all academic team selection to the Pac West, and somebody whose major is not exactly a walk in the park. Can you tell the people listening what your major is and what you maybe hope to do with it someday?
Yeah, so my major is kinesiology, which is exercise science, because everyone likes to ask me, what is that? But I plan to go into physical therapy after I graduate at Hilo to get my DPT or my doctorate in physical therapy. Yeah, that's just my plan right now. I've known for a long time that I've always wanted to do something within like the medical health kind of nutrition route, and I picked kinesiology, and I'm happy that I stuck with it, even though some of the classes may be a little difficult. I have my friends, my family, professors and staff at UHH to help me get through it.
And then you said you've known for a while. Was there a specific moment that really inspired you to want to go down that path? I know that sometimes people who want to help people were the ones who needed to help or needed to get help the most before. Is it a case like that? Or what kind of got you interested in that?
Yes, that's really true. I was actually really debating between going into nutrition or kinesiology at one point. But yeah, like you said, I actually had to go to PT back in high school because I had surgery on my hip from an injury from soccer. So that kind of really sparked my interest in kinesiology and definitely plays a role in why I chose it. Yeah.
Now, as you continue forward as a student athlete, what are some of the struggles you've seen with that major and also still trying to compete at a high level like you have on the cross country course?
I'd say balancing school, cross, especially being college, you still want to have a social life and whatnot. It really takes a lot of time management and discipline, I feel like, because, your priority is school first, and right after that comes cross country, nothing else. So I feel like you really need to get that engraved into your mind if you want to do well. And I always put my studies first because, of course, I want to get good grades so I can get accepted into grad school too. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, especially with grad school, I'd imagine that it's even more important for your studies. So, once again, kudos to you for being able to balance all of it. Before we go, I do want to bring us back to Campbell, because that is kind of the focus of this whole interview series, is how OIA schools helped us or helped you get to where you are now. Are there any teachers, any coaches? Is there anyone back in Campbell that strikes out a memory that you want to give them a quick shout out before you go?
Yeah, I would definitely say Mrs. Valdez, who was my math teacher junior year, and I was also her TA and her teaching assistant my senior year. She was always really chill. I used to hang out in her class all the time during lunch. I really miss her, and she was a really great teacher. So I give my shout out to her. And for the coaches, I really want to say Mark Ine, which was my very first cross country coach ever. And he was my high school coach. I joined my sophomore year of high school. He taught me a lot about running that I've never knew, things that I took with me to college and brought to the team, I hope he's doing well now because I haven't talked to him in a while, but yeah.
I am sure both of them, well, we will be able to get this over to them, make sure they know that you're thinking about them. That's kind of what makes public schools and small schools in general pretty nice to go to, is the personal connection you can make to people. Well, Aurea, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for your time today. You were very, very gracious with it. We're going to have to get you on again sometime after this next season as well, after you kick butt, take some names there, and before long, you and I will chat again.
Yes, thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Thank you so much.